Hey y'all, it's Anna B, and welcome to the Social Health Initiative podcast. Yes, I'm jumping on the podcast train like everyone else, but I'm actually really excited because I feel like transitioning to this platform, whether you're listening from the YouTube or listening from Spotify, I just think that this goes a lot more in lines with a lot of the values that I speak about with YouTube culture and everything these days. I know everyone does podcasts nowadays, but I don't know, I just think that it'll be more beneficial for you all so you don't feel like you have to sit down and watch a YouTube video. You can listen to it while you're doing your chores or anything like that. But along with that, I also just think that it will allow me to feel free to speak a little bit longer about different topics so I can, not have to worry about sticking to around a 10-minute length for YouTube algorithm and things like that. So I hope that you guys are excited about this switch to a new platform. I know I sure am. I'm really looking forward to a lot of the things that I hope I can accomplish on here. If you're listening on Spotify, yes, there is video versions of this, but there's no actual picture to the video, kind of the SHI logo up on the screen. So if you want to listen to this on the YouTube platform, you sure can do that. It's available there as well. But yes, if you're listening on the YouTube platform, it is available on the Spotify. Without further ado, I think it's time to introduce our first podcast topic, and that today is going to be rules for an unplugged summer. It is never too late or too early to start thinking about ways that you can better yourself this summer when it comes to your digital footprint. And not only that, but also working on things like your attention span and reducing multitasking and really increasing your focus this summer, because that's something that during the school year I know we all can struggle with. I think that recently I myself have been finding that I love to do multiple things at once, and by this I mean like having something on in the background is always comforting to me, like when I'm doing homework, having a video playing or music playing, and I've just come to realize how unhealthy that truly is, just because your brain needs to focus on one thing at a time for it to do its best work. And so I think with all of these rules that I'm going to be talking about today, yes, it's going to touch on that social media aspect of everything like all of my content always does, but I also want to dig in a little bit to kind of that aspect of improving your overall mental focus and kind of how that can transition into reducing anxiety and reducing things like that, because you're going to be more focused, you're going to be less reliant on those outside distractions, and you really, with a lot of these tips, are going to be able to develop yourself to get into a routine of being focused. So our first rule is sleeping with your phone in a different room. And now this is something that I'm even still getting used to practicing. I went for a long time with like sleeping with my phone plugged in on the other side of my room. I used to sleep with it on my nightstand, and that just wasn't not it, because I'd be tempted to look at it before I went to bed. I'd be tempted to look at it first thing when I woke up in the morning. Maybe a year and a half ago, I transitioned to keeping it plugged in on the other side of my room and having my alarm on there so that right away in the morning I wake up and I'm forced to cross my room to turn that alarm off. But I am currently working on transitioning to sleeping with it plugged in downstairs. I have a whole phone charging drawer that's downstairs in our kind of like kitchen area. So right now I'm currently working on transitioning to keeping it just plugged in down there, because then as soon as I come upstairs to brush my teeth and get ready for bed and go to bed, if I start to feel like I want to go on my phone, I don't have the ease of just reaching for my phone and grabbing it to look at it. I would have to go all the way downstairs and things like that. And it's the same for when I wake up in the morning. I'm able to do my whole morning routine upstairs before heading down to check my phone for the day. So I think that's the first rule that will definitely immediately help you. It'll minimize those distractions. It'll force you to utilize an alarm clock or something like that if you're someone who needs an alarm. Just separating yourself from your phone at night is just going to overall help you sleep easier, feel a lot better, and just in general help you to stay unplugged, obviously, because that's the whole theme of everything. So moving on, something very similar, and this is something I've been practicing as well, is no phone until 10 a.m. That's at least my rule. I think everyone can kind of decide what their own phone rule is for that, like what time they want to pick. For me, it's 10 a.m. I'm someone who likes to get up around 7 o'clock in the morning, so that gives me a good 3 hours of no phone in the morning. And I really think that any texts you get overnight, any calls you get overnight, they can wait until 10 a.m. to be answered. You do not need to feel like immediately when you get up in the morning, if you don't respond to someone, you are going to, it's going to be the end of the world. This is going to help teach you that it's okay to wait and plan a time to respond to texts, respond to emails, respond to phone calls. I think that 10 a.m. is a very reasonable time of day to do that. No one's going to be, getting on your case for not answering a text before 10 a.m. So this is just a personal rule that I set for myself that I think works really well. But I think obviously everyone needs to kind of find what time works best for them. For the online school that I do, and I usually don't work until 11:30, this is just something that works for me. But I think it's good for everyone to find a time during the day that is healthy for them to say, you know what, I'm not even going to touch my phone until this time. Let yourself wake up, let yourself read a little bit in the morning, have your morning coffee, whatever it is you like to do, and then worry about touching your phone. The next one, now this is going to start a little bit of controversy, I feel like, for a lot of you, but I think that if you're listening to this, you probably can agree with me that it's just time to make these decisions and take these actions towards bettering yourself and really unplugging this summer. So my next rule is delete Snapchat and TikTok. Now, these are the two social media platforms that I just cannot stand. I personally believe that they are pretty ridiculous, and I have had them both in the past, and I just don't see the point of them. I see the point of them, but I just know that there are so many better ways to go about accomplishing the tasks that these apps accomplish. So notice I'm not saying delete all your social media, because I do believe that some social media is important and effective and cultivates creativity. But for me personally, Snapchat and TikTok are the ones that I would like to encourage you to fully delete this summer. And by this, I mean don't even use them. Snapchat, you can utilize iMessage, you can utilize direct messaging on Instagram, and a lot of other communication techniques instead of Snapchat. So I really encourage you to delete Snapchat. Let your friends know, let your family know, whoever you communicate mainly with on Snapchat. Get their phone numbers if you want, get their Instagrams if you don't have them. Just find a way to utilize other messaging systems other than Snapchat, because it is just so mindless. The whole street culture is toxic, and I just think that it is pointless to need to send pictures of yourself back and forth with people all day. Personally, I believe it's meaningless communication, and I just don't see the point of it, and I want to encourage you to remove yourself from it this summer, see how it makes you feel. Hopefully, it will help to reduce some anxiety around Snapchatting, and I just think that it's a lot healthier in general to communicate in other ways. It'll make your communication more meaningful and help you to build better connections. From experience, I would like to just extend my gratitude to those of you who have done this or will make the decision to do this after listening to this episode. I've done it. I have had people who didn't like that I did it and didn't want to continue communicating with me after removing myself from Snapchat. And I just want to let you know that you're not alone in this. There's a lot of people who really only talk to people because it's convenient. And once you remove that convenience, you'll find that maybe they aren't the best of friends. Maybe they aren't someone that you want to keep around. So be ready for that with this transition, but at the same time, it is so healthy for you to just remove those relationships from your life. If you find that someone doesn't want to communicate with you after deleting your Snapchat, then maybe it's time to move on, and I just want to let you know you're not alone in that. This is something that I've experienced too. So if you want to reach out to me, if you have any concerns about this or you're struggling with anything related to any of that relationship stuff, transitioning away from these apps, please reach out. I would love to talk to you and share a little bit of my personal experience. In terms of deleting TikTok, the mindless, endless scrolling. The mindless, endless scrolling is so dangerous and so bad for your mental health and for your focus and all of that in general. Just delete it. You can still make creative videos and post them on YouTube Shorts or post them on Instagram Reels. But TikTok is just so unhealthy. The privacy and safety of it right now is just not at its peak. So I just want to encourage you to delete that. There are so many other platforms now that provide video making outlets like TikTok that are much safer. So I really do encourage you to just remove yourself from TikTok and Snapchat. So yeah, in general, that would be that rule. Just delete them. And if you have any questions about it, please reach out to me. These are all personal opinions, but they're all things that I do that make myself feel really great and things that I've felt really great about removing myself from. So just think about taking the time to do that. The next rule for your unplugged summer is mindful sharing. And this is something that I love to talk about a lot. This is a big number one rule that I just live by in general. Mindful sharing is basically just when you take the time to think about what you're posting on social media platforms. For me personally, I just have YouTube and Instagram. On YouTube, I'm always making sure that the content I'm putting out is meaningful and has an actual purpose. I also want to make sure it's not coming off as egotistical or like I'm trying to show off or anything like that. It's all stuff that I just generally feel like portrays me in a true fashion, is stuff that is not going to deliberately make others feel bad or feel like they are missing out on anything. I want to make sure that everything I put up on YouTube has a purpose and will do nothing but make people happy, entertain people, and overall just have a positive impact. When it comes to Instagram, mindful sharing from that aspect is what I post. I don't like to post selfies. I don't like to post photos that have no meaning. When I post, it's always because I had an activity or I went on a trip or I hung out with some friends that I really care about and I want to showcase that and write a nice message in the caption. Everything I'm posting has a purpose and is deliberately to share things that I've been up to, share aspects of my life and my personality, rather than just to show off or just to show a perfect body or show off my perfect outfit. I really just use it as a creative outlet as well to showcase my creative side, my photography skills, or share social health initiative stuff or things for the Miss America organization that I'm a part of. In general, it is just to share my personality, share my creativity, and share what I've been up to, what my life is like, in a fashion that is not deliberately meant to make others idolize me or think of me as anything other than just another person sharing aspects of their life on the internet. So I encourage you to think about everything that you're posting, and that means, is it necessary to post a selfie? Is it necessary to post a bikini picture? Make sure that they have meaning and that you're not just trying to show off or not just trying to fish for comments or anything like that. Really just be mindful. And along with this also, if you want to post a selfie that you think you look really great in and you really makes you feel good, go for it. But I encourage you to think about a mindful caption. Maybe talk about how you've been doing lately. Talk about how thankful you are for some of the people in your life, or talk about really just anything. I encourage you not to just do the emoji thing, not to do anything like that. Make your post mean something. Purposefully think about letting them have an impact in someone else's life. Like, how is this going to make someone's day better? So with mindful sharing, I kind of want to move into this next point, which is the 24-hour post method that I personally like to follow, that I think anyone can adapt and find that it is really healthy for them in terms of how they can still post on Instagram or their social media platforms, but not feel like they are attached to them or have to be active on the platforms. So the 24-hour posting method is you post something, and then you wait 24 hours, and then you delete the app. So for this, I use this on Instagram. I don't quite use it on YouTube because I just always keep YouTube on my phone, just because looking up karaoke for music or looking up how-to videos and things like that. So I just generally keep YouTube on my phone, but Instagram, I like to delete it in between posting periods. So when I post a picture or a story or something like that, I will always wait 24 hours, and in this 24-hour period, I will practice very good self-control and not go on Instagram to scroll, to check my Explore page, to check up on other people. I use this 24-hour period for a time to check in on who's liking my post, who's commenting on my post, respond to those comments. If anyone direct messages me about what the activity was or has any questions or anything like that, I'll use that 24 hours to answer all of that. And just in general, this helps me to be very mindful about my posts. It helps you not worry about the likes. It helps you not really worry about the comments at all. And it helps you to not scroll. So, for example, I posted recently at 10 a.m. on I think it was a Thursday, and then I waited that 24 hours. I responded to people who commented in that 24 hours. I saw how many likes it got in that 24 hours, and then after that, I deleted the app and haven't been back since to check on it. So it's always sometimes too a nice surprise when you go back and you see that, oh, 20 more people commented or something like that. But just give yourself that 24-hour period to still respond to comments, and you can check your like count if that's something you like to do. Make sure you're not getting any creepy messages or anything like that, and then just go ahead and delete from there. If you're someone who does not like to post, I encourage you to just delete Instagram, because if you're not posting on Instagram, I truly don't believe that it's necessary to be checking up on people every single day. I think if you want to re-download it and check up on it, or maybe use your computer on Safari to log in and check up on people once or twice a month, I think that would be a much healthier way to go about doing it. So I would encourage you to do that. But if you're someone who likes to post, just practice that 24-hour post method, and you should find yourself being a lot more comfortable with posting on Instagram and not feeling like you're, too attached to it or too anxious about how your posts are doing and things like that. It'll just teach you to be a lot more calm when it comes to the posting process. I found that this 24-hour post method has been very helpful for me, and so I hope that it can kind of be helpful for you as well. Now, this next one, or I should say these next couple, are going to be things that require self-actualization and extreme self-control. You are going to have to be very mindful when it comes to these next few, and it will take some time at first, and you might feel some anxiety around it, but I want to encourage you to really take these next few into account and think about how they could help to improve your life and how great it could be for you in the long run. So this first one is keep your phone away from you as often as possible. And by this, I mean practicing not going on your phone until 10 a.m., leaving your phone at home when you're going to go up to the pool to tan, leaving your phone upstairs when you're going to go downstairs to watch a movie, leaving your phone upstairs when you go downstairs to eat breakfast or lunch or dinner or anything like that. Just practice leaving your phone plugged in your room, in a drawer, something like that, as often as you can, because this is going to help you to reduce notifications, reduce that dopamine rush when you see your phone or are holding your phone. It is going to help you to no longer feel the constant need to have your phone in your hand. You are going to have to learn how to be uncomfortable not having your phone, but in the long run, it is going to help you feel more comfortable in situations when you realize that, oh shoot, I forgot my phone and I have to go to a whole day of work. When we are put in those situations, it is very common for people nowadays to freak out and not feel like they can survive a day without their phone when they forget it at home during a work day or something like that. I want to encourage you to think about just practicing those little things at home that are going to help you if you ever do run into any of those situations to feel more calm and to feel like you can survive a day without your phone, or you can survive a trip to the grocery store without your phone. People survived for so many years without immediate access to technology, and though it's not me asking you to pretend like you live in the 50s, because I do think it's great that we have these pieces of technology that we can carry with us in case we're in a car accident, or in case we get lost, or in case of any type of emergency like that. But I also do think that they have made a society where we don't feel comfortable not having this piece of technology around us, and it's constantly causing us to feel anxious when we do have it, but anxious when we don't have it. So I think that this practice of just practicing leaving it in a separate room, leaving it at home when you go outside for a walk, really just reducing your reliance on always having your phone in your hand is going to be so healthy for you. And I promise you, this is something that I've been practicing for the last year or so, and I can go full days without, needing to have my phone with me, because I feel just comfortable not having it. And I think that anyone, no matter how attached to your phone you feel you are, I really do think that anyone can improve in this area. And the first step towards doing that is just thinking about what you can do day to day to just leave your phone somewhere, disconnect from it for a little while, not always feel the need to scroll, not always feel the need to check for notifications, anything like that. It's just going to be super helpful for you and just really healthy. It's going to help with all that anxiety, like I keep saying. If you're worried about not being able to take photos or anything like that, you can always carry disposable cameras with you or something like that. That's something that I've kind of started to do, is I actually bought a camera recently for video taking, driving, so I don't always feel like I have to have my phone with me. Find alternatives as well, alternative communication methods. It's just not necessary to have your phone with all of the distractions that it has on it with you at all times. So the next one is going to be the big one that kind of takes into account everything that has to do with the whole multitask syndrome that so many people have these days, myself included. I don't want to say that I don't have these issues because I definitely do, but anything that is being used as a distraction from the task at hand is something that I would consider one of those dopamine triggers. Now, ways that you can work on reducing your reliance on these things is try driving in silence, try driving without music on. That's something that I like to do a lot if I ever feel like I'm super stressed out or I'm having a rough day. A lot of times maybe music would help me to feel better, but I just don't think that listening to music and being distracted by that while I'm driving is always the smartest thing. So if I ever know that I'm stressed out, I just like to turn off the radio. If it's nice out, maybe roll the windows down and just try driving in silence. A lot of times sitting with your thoughts like that can be super helpful and super healing. And just in general, it helps me to be more focused on the road and things like that. So that's a really great example of how to reduce those dopamine triggers. Another one of these could be trying to do homework or do work without other distractions. So don't have videos on in the background. Don't listen to podcasts. So if you're doing work right now and listening to me, turn me off, please. But other than that, just no music, no podcast. Don't watch videos in the background. Don't have the TV on in the background. In general, this is just training your brain to always need a distraction or something in the background without you even realizing it. So really just work on unplugging yourself from those outside distractions. Stop doing two things at once and really work on focus. Because big theme this summer for you, I want to be focus. Be mindful about everything that you're doing when it comes to technology and getting work done and making time for yourself and caring for your mental needs. Make sure that you are being mindful about all of that. At the end of the day, it'd be really great if we could all train our brains to calm themselves down without all of those extra distractions. Stop feeling the anxious need to always have something, always have some sort of stimulation. That's kind of my last point, is just really think about minimizing all of those triggers, minimizing multitasking, and really work on being mindful about tasks at hand. So I'm going to wrap up here soon, but I just want to end by talking about ways to track and really hold yourself accountable for making sure that you follow all of these rules as best you can. I am someone who really enjoys having a planner, like a physical pen and paper planner. And in this planner, I always like to use the notes pages or other sections that allow for writing to track daily a score out of 10. I like to score myself daily on how well I think I did in following all of the rules, so to say, that I set for myself. So I kind of set up a tracker, and each day I, kind of look at the different rules or the different goals I have set for myself, keep my screen time down, do this, don't go on my social media today, those types of things. And I like to kind of just score myself out of 10, check in with myself and say, okay, let's be honest, how did we do today? I will very honestly say that some days are way better than others, but I just think that in general, holding yourself accountable, scoring yourself, being able to reflect back and think about how could I have done today better is super, super, super helpful and really helps me to visually see my progress and visually see how my habits and things are changing over time. So if any of these rules that I've talked about today are something that you want to adapt, I really encourage you to create a tracker. Maybe you don't do it in a planner. Maybe you take some time to do a little art project and create a whole summer tracker, write all the dates out for this summer and hold yourself accountable, keep track of your progress, and hopefully you'll also be encouraged to see how successful you were and bring a lot of these habits into the school year, because these habits just aren't going to be healthy for the summertime. These habits are healthy year round. Now it's just a great time to take those habits into account. I hope you have enjoyed my rambling today and have found some new rules that you might not have heard of before, or maybe I've been convincing enough to encourage you to try out some new things. I want to hear from you and see how your progress is, so if you ever want to send me a message, it's always super fun to hear from people. It's really encouraging for me and helps me want to think of even more creative ways that I can help you guys out in breaking free from social media and helping to improve your mental well-being in general in relation to your digital footprint. Make sure you follow the Social Health Initiative on Instagram at socialhealth.initiative, and you can also follow me at _Anna B. And also make sure you check out the Social Health Initiative and my personal YouTube channel on YouTube if you are listening to this on Spotify. And hey, if you are listening to this on YouTube, feel free to head on over to Spotify and check this out there. I would love if you guys could leave me a review or a comment or anything like that. Let me know how you guys like this episode, and I really look forward to jumping into this podcast series and helping you guys to, like I said, just break free from the social media stereotypes and help you guys be the best that you can be. So with that, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'm really excited to see you guys, or I guess talk to you guys in the next episode. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next time. Again, I'm Anna B, and this is the Social Health Initiative Podcast.